All right, today we're going to talk about another funding we did last year, about 6 months, I would say 8 months ago. It was for a sixplex where the client had, I guess, they bought a detached home in Port Coquitlam, and they're going to subdivide the lot into two, where each lot will have 3 units, so 6 units total. Cecilia, this is your client, so maybe you can give us a little context on how you got this client. Why did they come to you?
So this client was referred by another client of mine, who's a builder and also a developer. So this client went to tier one banks, but then he couldn't get a construction loan because the market is not good. And then for a project with 6 units, they require pre-sale. But then by that time, it's hard to get pre-sale. So he came to us and then looking for try to get help for this construction loan.
Yeah, I remember this was around like January, February 2025, and that was when also Trump announced the tariffs. And also the market that time was not very, there weren't many sales, a lot of duplex in the market, a lot of triplex in the marketplace. So there weren't many comparables. I think a lot of lenders were tightening up their lending policies at the time. So they were only reserving their capital for clients who had experience, who had pre-sales. Those are some key fundamentals. And obviously they're looking at the project pro forma to ensure that there's good profitability too. A lot of banks require at least minimum 15% on profitability. So those are some really key things that we need to hit in order to get financing with a tier one bank. I remember I spoke to David as well with you that time, was that he went to a couple banks and he couldn't get approval. So his next step was to go to tier two and tier three banks, where I think the rates were at that time, based on rates with that prime and everything, we were at like 10% plus on the total cost. So that was very expensive. And I think he was about to even sign an offer letter from one of the private lenders for this deal because he was very close to getting permits. So I think that was a big challenge, and we knew that this was challenging too because of a couple key things. First time builder, no experience. The project had okay profitability. Wing, actually, do you remember the profitability of this one? Like, how was it? Was it
It was tight. It was around
tight, right?
initially when we kind of did it. It was around like 12 to 13%, and after we kind of got them to reduce some of the budgets and then cut some costs, and then we were able to get to 14 to 15%. That was kind of one of the main challenges, and probably one of the reasons he was declined as well, because the profitability wasn't really there. Also in a slower market, no one, they're going to ask, why are you building? I can't make a profit, right? So, and given then he's a first-time builder, they're afraid that he might, not be able to control his costs and have cost overruns, and that'll further into the profitability of the project. So this one was particularly challenging, just the timing of it, both the Trump tariffs announcements.
That impacts the budget too, right? Like the budget that we present could also change in 6 months.
Exactly. It was everything was so fluid at that time of the tariffs, and the market was not moving. There wasn't many comparables when we did the appraisal, so there was just one challenge was up another. Not to mention this was his first project, and he's building 6 units. Usually people start the first project single family home or duplex. He's building over 2 lots, so this is quite a large project with a fairly large loan that they're asking. So there was just one challenge after the other. However, good thing we do have pretty deep relationships with some of our lenders. We were able to present a very attractive package. Just a lot of it's just how you kind of word things and present certain numbers, and they probably did the same thing to certain banks, but they didn't get approved because they don't know how to present in a certain way, I think. So that's where our strength of our team.
Yeah, and I think the key thing is, like, it's not like we're trying to change numbers or clients trying to change numbers, but when a client comes to the bank, they've known how to convey the message or how to present the file so that's easy to understand, or synthesizing it. That's all it really is. But our job is really organizing the notes, making sure that everything's correct, they're not missing anything, and building a compelling case as to why should a lender take on this project and take on this client. I think that's the biggest thing. If I was a lender and I have 10 or 20 applications, and we know that there's so many applications for duplex and multiplex in this market, who do I choose, right? And there's a finite amount of capital the bank can reserve for construction loans. Knowing that, it is a bit of like, it's like a resume theory where when you submit 20 resumes, how do the employer, how do they choose that person? right? So for me, it's the same thing as presentation, relationship, and also making sure that we don't miss any negatives we highlight, any red flags we highlight, any strengths we highlight. We have to show both. Can't just submit a deal that it's perfect, everything's good, and hide all the weaknesses, right? Because I don't think that's how you should present as a mortgage broker anyways, because we also have to think like an underwriter. And I always talk to you guys about that part, right? So yeah, I think that's the key thing there, is that the solution that we got was really, we're able to synthesize what data the client told us and made it more compelling, and then made sure he didn't miss anything. Anything else was the, I'm just trying to think right now, what else was there? Those are the challenges, I think, that was really.
Yeah, that was the main challenges. We were able to fund on time as he had his permits already. So no delays of the projects, and that helps with the performance as well. If there are any delays, then he would be paying more out of pocket for it at the delays as well. So
Actually, two key things I really liked was the first draw was 65% loan of value. So he's able to get a lot back, because a lot of lenders are going to give you only 50% of land value on your first draw.
It was pretty tight on equity, so that definitely helped.
That helped a lot. Second thing that helped was, because the pro formas were so tight, the profitability so tight, if he went to a lender at say 10-12%, it's going to eat into your profitability. So because we got him prime plus 1.75, I think he was able to make the profit to make it worthwhile to even build this project, right? So that was a key difference there. Two other things: no QS report. So that saves a client for every QS report. What's the cost of one every time you do
the
QS
initial
report?
one is probably $2,000 to $3,000, and then each QS report that's like $600 to $1,000 usually. Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
So we save the client quite a lot of money with no QS, and most important, no pre-sales. I think this is where it gets a lot of developers, is that imagine you have to do 6-unit, 6-plex like this, and you need to pre-sell at least 50% of that. So 3 units you have to sell in February 2025. That means you're gonna have to fire sell these units, meaning you're gonna make your profitability just got impacted right there, right? But we have the ability now, no pre-sale, so he can control when he sells his project, when the market recovers or is better. So I think that is actually probably one of the most important terms and condition. See, for me, if I was a developer and I had to pay slightly higher rates but have no pre-sales, I would take in that market,
Sure.
right? So, but here we got both, which is kind of nice, I think.
The flexible draws help too, because obviously this is first project. Money is a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
So we were able to lower the draw requirements significantly from usually what it is.
And what's the standard? What is the standard draw requirement if this was like a
Typically 200 and 250K in progress. We were able to get down to $100,000 in progress, so which is quite a bit lower. So this way you can request a draw every $100,000 that he put in if he wanted to. But some people require 250,000, which is a lot of money.
Typically, I think it's like what, up to lockup stage, right? 40% roughly is
Well,
when
like
the next
250K is quite a bit too, like just to put in, right? So it's a lot of people get stuck, and that's why you see some partially completed projects sometimes, because they get stuck in between draws. We were able to negotiate a pretty flexible and low draw amount of $100,000, so that really helped our borrower in getting his project started and keep it going on fine.
See, I think you recently met with the client recently. How's his project coming along right now? Is he almost close to kind of starting construction soon, or permitting?
Yeah, he's in the progress.
Okay, perfect, good, awesome. But yeah, that was a good win for this client here.